Hello and welcome to the Boutique Guitar Showcase at Winter NAMM 2020. Here with a friend of TNAG's, a legend, Mr. Mike Baranik. And Mike, how are you? Oh,
Ben,
we will go over
we'll shake with the left hand.
hand.
Because you have your other hand occupied.
Do you know what? This is, we if you remember last year, it was not as cool. This is cool. I can do this now.
Did you have, well, no, we had mics.
No,
like
the
this.
mic, yeah. And it was just really noisy.
It was weird.
Yeah, yeah.
They were moving around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
we started working with each other last year.
Yep.
We had
After NAMM.
right after NAMM,
Right after
and we
NAMM.
sold a whole bunch of awesome acoustic guitars.
Bunch of guitars.
The E-Type in particular, man,
Yeah.
that guitar,
It was a killer.
it just had, I mean, it had everything.
Right.
But obviously it was James Bond guitar, so that
Yep,
made it very
yeah.
cool. But it was just so big a sounding
Right,
instrument for
for
such
a
for
parlor.
a parlor.
Yep.
You are kind of really well known for those parlors now. So what was the sort of what inspired you to make that E-Type?
I made two of those E-types, and the original idea came from a customer who has the other one. He wanted to make a parlor that was much different than my other one, and his idea was kind of, we wanted to make a maple guitar, but he didn't want a maple sounding guitar. So the idea was to use Brazilian rosewood in the interior of the guitar and then put a veneer of maple over it so that it looked like a maple guitar, but it sounded like a rosewood or Brazilian guitar. So the whole idea was to do a stealth guitar, and then we started talking about secret agents and stuff like that, and it turned out to 007, and we started talking about E-Type Jaguars, and then we just it just started snowballing.
And man, it was so cool. Brian, I don't think when it first arrived, I think Brian didn't put the thing down.
Yeah.
He just played that
That's
guitar
cool.
for about 4 hours.
Very cool.
But we are very excited
Yes.
at this particular NAMM show
Yes.
because of your master plan,
Yes.
which
There's a master plan.
there's a real
involved there.
master plan
Yes.
involved here.
Yep.
And you showcased your electrics, and we've still got that video where I said, "How you getting on?" You were like, "I just sold 12," or something crazy
exactly.
like that.
Yep.
And we are excited to say that we are now officially going to be stocking Baranik's B1, the B1.
model, yep.
Yeah.
The first of the many models to come.
Yeah, B1 electrics, and these are ours. So
Good
let's
review.
take a little
Yeah.
look at these babies.
This one's Federal Blue with 2 racing stripes. There's a white opaque stripe here, and then a natural amber stripe that matches the headstock. And originally, when I was designing the stripes, I was going to have them go straight up, but I didn't want them, the smaller of the two, to be hidden by the control for the pickups. So I just started laying things out, and I figured I could change the angle of the smaller stripe. So after laying it out, I was like, oh my gosh, I can put that plate right in the middle of the two.
So cool.
Yeah.
They stand out
Right.
for a mile. They really do.
One of the really cool things is I don't order my paint from the manufacturer. I mix my own colors. So I'm not like calling the paint guy and saying, hey, I need a quart of seafoam green and I need a quart of shell pink. I'm taking white paint and I'm mixing the color until I find the color that I want.
Wow.
And a lot of times what I'll do is if I'm just looking at different designs or cars or anything like that, and I see a color that I like, I kind of catalog it. And so that color came from a jacket that I really liked, the color of a jacket I really liked.
Right.
And it was called Federal Blue. That was the color they called. So I'm like, all right, took a picture of the thing, wrote down the name, and then when I was ready to build a guitar, that's the color I decided to use.
Nice.
So this guitar is really cool. All these guitars weigh between 6.5 and 7 pounds. I
Yeah.
designed them to be, because I play in a band, and
Surf rock band.
play in a surf rock band.
Yeah.
And one of the things
What's the name of your surf rock band?
it's Karate Laundry. Yeah, I joined the band after the name was already there, so you can't take that out on me. But
Oh man, that's amazing.
it was the name on a.
Tell me you come out wearing like karate outfits.
That would be awesome.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
It was the name, the strip malls where they have all the names of the whatever's in there, and there was a karate place, there was a laundry store, there was a dollar, so those guys. I joined the band after the other guys had already started it.
Yeah.
They needed a new guitar player, so the name was Karate Laundry, which is a pretty cool name.
And you were like, as soon as they said, you're like, what's the name? And they went Karate Laundry. You're like, I'm in.
Yeah, I was like,
I've never heard
cool.
of the music, but I'm in.
It sounded pretty cool, right? So,
Sorry, back to business.
So, when I started designing these about three years ago, one of the things I really wanted to do is make sure that I kept the weight down. Because anytime you play and you're standing around for an hour and a half, and you have a 8 or 9 pound guitar, it drags on your shoulder. It's starting to pinch nerves, and you're starting to, you're fighting it. You want to get it off you. So even a pound and a half is a huge difference in weight.
Yeah.
So my goal is to keep these guys down between 6.5 and 7 pounds.
Yeah.
So it depends on what woods the guitar is made out of. This one has the back body blank is made out of a Chiwa, which I use for all my back braces and my kerfing. It's a real lightweight Peruvian wood that's very acoustic. And this one has a soft maple cap on it.
I love how you can still see the maple.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
really great.
Yep.
So like transparent
Yeah,
white.
if you look real close, you can kind of see the marbling of the wood.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of flame in there too.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to do with the cool colors is I wanted to do a satin finish. Everyone does a gloss finish on their guitars, and I think the hardware really stands out on the guitar because the finish is there and it's subtle. It's got the color, but it's not shiny.
Yeah.
So the shiny hardware really stands out on the guitar.
Yeah.
And
You got a kind of like matte finish as well.
yeah, I use different kinds of metals for the plates. So this one is like a brushed aluminum, and I'll like play around with different copper, gold, aluminums to see which one looks best with the color scheme, and pick out the hardware that matches best for each guitar. So these aren't made like, I'm not like pumping these things out. Like I'm thinking about them for a while.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, I want to.
You can see that. You can totally see that.
So one of the really cool things is I started using Duesenberg's tremolo system here, the less trem here, and they make some really amazing tremolo systems. This is a kind of a Jazz Master tremolo system, and it is fantastic. So one of the really cool things is I started using different hardware, reclaimed stuff. So this is an old radio tuner that basically took off the metal knob and put that on, but it matches the gold foil pickups perfectly. So all those little things kind of taken into account, they pop out. There's little brass on the back of the tuners. So if you look carefully, there's a lot of detail in the electrics that I would normally do in my acoustic guitars in a different way.
You can see that and you can feel it.
So this guitar has a what I call suggested pink color. It's basically white with one drop of red in it, just to give it a little bit of a pink color. And the whole reason I chose that color was for the headstock.
The headstock. We need to talk about the headstock because I love the headstock.
Yeah,
you said something really cool yesterday. You were just like, you made it that way so that it's like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah. So the whole reason behind the headstock is for function first. It's a reverse headstock so that the string is longer on the bass side, and anytime you have a string longer on the scale length, even if it's behind the nut or behind the saddle, it takes more tension to get to pitch. So these strings on the bass side have the longer scale and the longer string length, so there's more tension involved. So your bass strings are not going to buzz because there's more tension involved. And it's the same thing as like you play a Les Paul or a Gibson. You're bending notes on that versus a Strat. It's easier to bend because the scale length's slower. So the treble side is the reverse. It has a shorter scale. It has a shorter string length on there, so it's easier to bend. So the whole design was based on having a reverse headstock, but not having one that everyone else does. So I've never seen this done before, but I put three tuners on the side on the headstock, And once I kind of figured out that's what I wanted to do, it took a long time to figure out a shape that would look really cool.
Yeah.
And it took me like, I don't know, probably like 2 or 3 weeks to finally get the final design down. And once I got it down, I was like, man, this thing is going to be polarizing. Like, people that are going to love it, or they're going to absolutely hate it.
But I think that what stands out for me, I love the fact that you've used it as like it's the thing that everybody sees. It's on the logos, on the t-shirts.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, I don't want people to be okay with it.
Yeah.
I want them to be like, holy crap, that's amazing, or I hate it.
Yeah.
I think it's ugly, and I don't want people to go, I'm just okay with it.
Yeah.
So the response to it's been amazing.
Well, what's amazing is when you put certain things up, you know, we see on YouTube, you know, there are people that they're either super passionate, like that is so cool, or they are naturally like, that's horrible. But
Right.
I think it's great, and I love the fact that you're standing behind it and you're like loud and proud.
And the response has been fantastic from not only players but other builders. Like, they're like, it's the coolest headstock I've ever seen. So it's very hard to come up with something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was the springboard for the whole guitar. It was like, okay, now I've got this really cool headstock. I got to make a guitar that stands up to the that stands up to the headstock. So the whole design behind the guitar was kind of future retro. Guitars that look like they're in the past, but also in the future.
Yeah.
So the guitars have lots of different unique designs about them. I'm using Mojo pickups from the UK.
Yeah.
Mark wines these for me, and they're just fantastic pickups. These ones have a hologram foil underneath the plastic. So the really cool thing about it is, whatever hardware you use on the guitar, if you're using copper or red, it kind of picks it up. That's what your eye sees. So it's just a really cool thing, and the pickups sound amazing. So to be able to have someone who makes pickups that meet my vision for my guitars is amazing. So with those two things done, it's just finding out hardware that other people are using.
Yeah.
That's why I'm using the Duesenberg stuff. I'm using a shell roller bridge, and I'm custom making my own control panels. Like, all these are cut by myself and designed. If you look really closely, everything is etched out.
Oh, that is really, really cool.
So there's
that's amazing.
There's a theme behind everything. Pickup 1 has 1 slash, pickup 2 has 2 slashes. So if you look carefully, there's a slash for 1, slash for 2. But then you have this really cool arrowhead up here, and there's slashes that tell you what you're getting. You're getting 2 there, you're getting 2 and plus 1 on that side, and you're getting 1 on that. And
that's brilliant.
Everything.
That's brilliant.
So you can blend the pickups, not just have 1 or 2 or the back one on. You can have any combination of the pickups.
That is awesome, Mike.
Yeah.
That really is very cool. I like the fact you got some British manufacturing in those with the British piano. Brian loves these guys.
I love them too. Yeah, they're to me, they're like they meet my needs to a T. You know, like, and Mark's been fantastic to work with.
And you've also been working with a pedal brand. I've seen that on. Because your Instagram's so good. You got some, and I love that. And you're telling me you got a music video you're doing, right?
We're going to be going to Joshua Tree, to the Futuro house. There's like a weird alien ship, like a UFO house. We're going to be doing a video and photo shoot with the guitars.
Great.
So I hooked up with Scott Hopper, who is Knobs Demos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I met him last year at YouTube, and I'm a really big fan of his, because playing in a band, I'm using a lot of pedals, and I absolutely fell in love. Like, you research stuff online before you buy it, right? You're like looking up stuff, and you're like, you guys put out this amazing content on guitars. People can hear the guitars, they can see the guitars. Same thing with pedals. There's guys that do these really creative demos of the pedals, and Knobs is one of those guys that no one knows who he is. You don't see his face, and he's not like actually like showing you how to use the pedals. He's showing the pedal in a creative, artistic way, and then letting you hear sonically what the pedal can do. So I just fell in love with the way the guy, his playing and his musicality and the emotion he gets out of his videos. And a lot of the pedals that I really gravitated towards with the Chase Bliss pedals. So last year I figured out who he was, and I met him. I said, dude, I really want to work with you. So we worked it out. and he had this Dan Electro Dead On 67 guitar, which is a fairly inexpensive guitar, but he wanted something that was a little more unique, something that sounded like that guitar, felt like that guitar, but it even went further. So we designed this guitar from the ground up and made this amazing guitar. But it also led me to meeting Joel and the rest of the guys at Chase Bliss. So I made a guitar they have a mood pedal. So the mood pedal is like this coral color, and it's got these really cool colored stripes on it. So I designed a guitar that was based on that pedal. It's got the same color aspects of it. Yeah. And those are over at the Chase Bliss booth, and they're just getting phenomenal response.
We have to go and check those guys out. Now that is honestly, Mike, I love seeing your not just how creatively beautiful they are and how the craftsmanship, but just the vision you've got, and you've really thought about this in a lot of detail. This is like you said to me, there's a master plan. There really is.
Yeah, there's more models coming. This is just the start, and once the next couple models come out, they're gonna be a little crazy, and then some of the later models are gonna be a little higher end. They're gonna be, carved maple tops with T-bursts. I'm gonna start using my this headstock on some of the electrics. Cool, so man. There's going to be some really cool high-end. This guitar is pretty cool. This is a Super Meridian prototype. This is the first one built. Wow. So this has got some of the E-type stuff in it. It's got that. It's got some of the tortoise shell. It's got the side vents on it. This guitar was made out of lumber bought at a lumber store, like wood bought at a lumber store. I went in the lumber store I buy a lot of my wenge at a lumber store, and they had some really nice maple, and I just sliced up some maple from the lumber store. This is a
maple cap with a wenge. Yeah, I think I just saw wenge. Yeah, oh wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the E-type. So it's got a wenge fretboard, 26-inch bass side, and a 25 1/4 fan fret, Sitka spruce top, but it has a lot of the same design elements as the E-type. This guitar will go into production, but it doesn't necessarily going to have the E-type appointments. No. It'll be up to whoever wants to order a guitar if they want these or they want the regular appointments.
I love your themes. I just love how they're all, the bevel, the scoops. It's awesome stuff. Mike, well, congratulations on a killer show.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so excited that we're going to be bringing these in.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys do your demo videos with Brian and seeing how the response is. But
and that boy can play.
Yeah.
That boy, when we first met him and he came into the showroom and he was playing, Rich and I were upstairs and he was playing. We both were like,
right.
Who is this guy?
That's what my whole vision with the electric guitars is. I want somebody to see the guitar and be inspired by the guitar, but I also want, these guitars are not just about looks, they're about playability and sound. And so when people pick them up and they start playing, they're like, oh my gosh, these guitars play amazing. And then they plug them in, they're like, oh my gosh, these guitars sound amazing. They're getting the whole package.
And they're at a great price point as well.
Yeah, they're just under $4,000. They're $3,900, and there's a ton of work in them.
Yeah.
You think there's this whole, I think, kind of acoustic luthiers look down on electric luthiers, and maybe, there's just a slab of wood with some pickups in it. But the guys and you look around the boutique guitar showcase, there are some amazing electric guitars being made that have just the same amount of work as an acoustic guitar.
Absolutely, yeah, couldn't agree more.
One of the other things I really love too is I've been building guitars for 27 years and doing acoustic guitars almost exclusively for about 23 years. And to get back into electric guitar making has really been a refreshing thing, because I can take a little time to work on some electric guitars and take a break from the acoustic guitars. And then when I'm tired of doing all the paint and all the crazy electronics and all that stuff, I can go back to the woodworking of the acoustic guitars. Yeah. So it's been a really good yin and yang of
great balance.
Great balance. So I'm really looking forward to see what you guys do with them.
Man, I love the passion, mate. Yeah. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, man.
Awesome stuff.
Yes.
Can't wait to get them into the showroom.
Yeah.
And these are ours. We just agree with them. And there's Brian behind us. Yeah. Brian, come in here quickly.
Get in here, Brian.
Come in, get in here. So, mate, we're
going to be playing these two.
We bought these two guitars. They're coming to the showroom.
Yeah.
So you're going to get to demo them, mate?
Yeah.
No pressure.
I mean, you can try and buy them, but you're going to have to prize them out of my hands first. And I'm telling you, that's not going to be easy.
Mike,
Awesome.
nice one, man. Thank you so much.
Congratulations,
Thank
that's
you.
stunning.
So for more information on the finest luthier-built instruments, then please do subscribe to our channel. But for more information on Mike Baranik and these insane B1s, don't hesitate to get in touch.